New research is revealing the dangers for teens who use e-cigarettes and how it raises their risk for the coronavirus. And another question, have you been targeted by a scammer claiming to be from the DEA? We're going to talk about that as well, why you don't want to fall prey to that scam. Bill Bodner, special agent in charge of Los Angeles DEA, joins us now. Good morning to you, Bill. We want to talk about e-cigarettes first. A Stanford study of medicine suggests teens who use e-cigarettes to vape are 5 to 7 times more likely to be infected with COVID. That has got to terrify everyone.
It does. And Phil, these devices were originally marketed and sold to us as it was supposed to be the safer alternative to smoking. And what we're finding out now, especially in the midst of COVID, is that's not the case. The best case scenario with these devices is you're only as safe as the product you're vaping. And what we're seeing, especially with teens who are vaping THC products, is these products come from the black market, 3/4 of the time. They have pesticides, they have herbicides in them. The process to make the THC oil, it's basically an extraction process, and it's basically sucking the chemicals out of the leaf. That they want to get the THC out of the leaf. Unfortunately, all the other chemicals that are used in growing the marijuana in the black market come with it. And that's why this is such a scary thing. You're basically smoking herbicides and pesticides that have been banned by the FDA.
Well, and just to stay on that topic very quickly, especially for teens who can't legally buy an over-the-counter vaping product, they're probably getting, and we need to tell parents this too, if your kid happens to be, they're getting something that's just possibly toxic.
Yeah, so along those lines, Phil, a recent study by an independent company, they tested 7 black market vaping THC substances. All of them, every one of them contain something like formaldehyde, cyanide, and that's a result of just the corners that are cut with these products to get them together and to profit from them. So these chemicals that are used illegally to grow the marijuana are now being extracted from the plant. And like I said, we're smoking them. And those are the products that teens are getting because they're black market. And like you said, a teen can't go into a legitimate dispensary and buy an over-the-counter product that would at least be a little bit safer.
And for kids who think they're so indestructible, COVID attacked your lungs. I mean, got to remember that. Okay, so let's talk about scams, a dime a dozen. I mean, people are trying to do everything they can to take advantage of COVID relief, stimulus checks, but this was a hard one to believe. People are pretending to be DEA agents?
Yeah, and Phil, as much as we all like to think, myself included, that we would never fall victim to a scam, these people would not be perpetrating these scams unless they were profiting from them, and they wouldn't be profiting from them unless they were very good and very convincing. So there's 2 different scams that are going on right now. First is with calls to the general public, and they will tell the person, hey, you've been purchasing prescription drugs online without a prescription. You need to pay a fine or DEA is going to come and arrest you. You will never get such a phone call from a legitimate DEA agent, right? So it's bogus, and it's right there. You should know it's bogus. The second type of scam is actually targeting medical professionals, which is even more horrendous now in the midst of COVID. And they're telling these medical professionals that they've received complaints about them, and they're going to go to them. That DEA is going to go to the medical board, go to the revoke their DEA registration, stop them from prescribing drugs unless they pay a fine. And again, that's something that would never happen over the phone. Real quick, if you receive one of these calls, please report it to us. Don't be embarrassed. It's happening everywhere in the United States. Call 877-792-2873. We're taking these reports and we're going after these people to try to get them to stop harassing and taking advantage of the public.
I'm glad you gave that number, Bill, because I was going to wrap this up because we're out of time. It's not against the law for me to hang up on somebody and then call the DEA myself, correct?
That's absolutely what you should do. And real quick, Phil, they will spoof a number. So they will actually make it appear as though their phone call is coming from a DEA office. Even in that case, hang up and get the number independently and call.
That is such great advice for every scam. Bill, thanks very much for joining us. Bill Bodner, special agent in charge with the DEA in Los Angeles. We will talk to you again very soon.
Thanks.